And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration. Rotten politics in this country at the moment.
Hey everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to go against the mould and look at the resignation of Newsnight presenter Emily Maitlis that broke the biased bullcrap corporation's charter, which states to provide impartial news and information to help people understand and engage with the world around them. Do a bad job of that, don't they? The BBC should provide duly accurate and impartial news, current affairs and factual programme to build people's understanding of all parts of the United Kingdom and of the wider world. Its content should be provided to the highest editorial standards. It should offer a range and depth of analysis and content not widely available from other United Kingdom news providers, using the highest calibre presenters and journalists and championing freedom of expression. Okay, well you failed on all counts, so that all audiences can engage fully with major local, regional, national and United Kingdom and global issues and participate in the democratic process at all levels as active and informed citizens. Let's watch what's got everyone up in arms about Newsnight, shall we?
Good evening. Dominic Cummings broke the rules. The country can see that, and it's shocked the government cannot. The longer ministers and Prime Minister tell us he worked within them, the more angry the response to this scandal is likely to be. He was the man, remember, who always got the public mood, who tagged the lazy label of elite on those who disagreed. He should understand that public mood now, one of fury, contempt and anguish. He made those who struggled to keep to the rules feel like fools and has allowed many more to assume they can now flout them. The Prime Minister knows all this, but despite the resignation of one minister, growing unease from his backbenchers, a dramatic early warning from the polls and a deep national disquiet, Boris Johnson has chosen to ignore it. Tonight we consider what this blind loyalty tells us about the workings of Number 10. We do not expect to be joined by a government minister, but that won't stop us asking the questions.
Now, as you can see by that does not show any impartiality at all, does it? And on the face value, you'll probably be angry like so many others all over social media, as I was originally. But after thinking about this, I've come to the conclusion that Emily has just been unfairly targeted. And I don't mean by us and the countless people that have complained to Ofcom regarding it. Let's read an article in the Metro, an extreme left propaganda rag, and see what they say. Then I'll explain my logic, and believe me, it's far darker than a cock-up. It's titled, BBC Rules Emily Maitlis, Dominic Cummings Newsnight Comments Did Not Meet Standards of Impartiality as Viewers Call for Investigation. BBC viewers have called for the broadcaster to investigate Newsnight's Emily Maitlis over her comments about senior government aide Dominic Cummings, accusing her of breaching rules, with the broadcaster saying it did not meet its standards of impartiality. Following the uproar from viewers, the BBC released a statement on Wednesday afternoon that read, "The BBC must uphold the highest standards of due impartiality in its news and output. We've reviewed the entirety of last night's Newsnight, including the opening section, and while we believe the programme contained fair, reasonable and rigorous journalism, we feel that we should have done more to make clear the introduction was a summary of the questions we would examine, with all the accompanying evidence in the rest of the programme. As it was, we believe the introduction we broadcast did not meet our standards of due impartiality. Our staff have been reminded of the guidelines." Maitlis this week accused Prime Minister Boris Johnson at Number 10 of blind loyalty to Cummings in the ongoing row over the AIDS lockdown trip, in what appeared to many as a breach of the BBC impartiality rules. At the beginning of her Tuesday night broadcast, she said the PM advisor broke the rules by taking a controversial 260-mile trip to County Durham with his family in March when lockdown had been put in place. He also said his move made who struggled to keep to the rules feel like fools. Cummings has been sacked by Mr Johnson. Cummings has been backed by Mr Johnson and has denied any wrongdoing, holding a press conference and facing the press on Monday over the journey. More of a grilling, wasn't it? Of the same question reworded over and over and over again. In the 53-second monologue aired on Tuesday, Maitlis said the political strategist was known for always getting the public mood, so should recognise he had provoked one of fury, contempt and anguish on Twitter. Now it's being claimed the BBC has been inundated with complaints from viewers. The According to the BBC's guidance on its own editorial standards, it states, "We are impartial, seeking to reflect the views and experiences of our audiences," yeah, alright, "so that our output as a whole includes a breadth and diversity of opinion." Have you heard this? "And no significant stand of thought is underrepresented or omitted." Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. "We are independent of outside interests and arrangements that could compromise our editorial integrity. Our editorial standards do not require absolute neutrality on every issue or detachment from fundamental democratic principles." No, but it requires you to be transparent, i.e., if it's an opinion, you should make it known that it's an opinion, not stated as if it's a fact. Still, Maitlis had many a fan who praised her statement on social media. Yeah, I told you. Twatter! One labelling it savage brilliance. Oh yeah, it was brilliant. So brilliant, she lost her job. Another wrote on social media, "Absolutely no mucking about from Maitlis on Newsnight. This is because the left are vicious. Is it not?" One felt she echoed the feelings of millions as they added, "Emily Maitlis has a penetrating way with words and the guts to use those words in the service of the public." She even had Piers Morgan in her corner. Well, surprise, surprise, a journalist protects a journalist. Woohoo! Are you shocked, everybody? What rules did Emily break? And even if you did think she did, I thought the new rule is that we can all use our instinct to ignore rules. Oh, here we go. Political point scoring. However, many others felt it went against the impartial standards of the BBC and called for the watchdog to be brought in. Journalist JHB said, "I'm sorry, but this is totally unacceptable from Maitlis, Newsnight and the BBC. The BBC is required to be impartial. This is a clear breach of their own rules. Commentators, including me, can give their own opinions. BBC presenters cannot." Which is true. You heard the charter. It specifically states, because it's the BBC, it has to be impartial. Well, we all know that they're not impartial, don't we? Another viewer wasn't impressed as they chimed, "I really like Maitlis, Newsnight and absolutely cherish the BBC, but really not sure about editorialising in this way. Happened a few times recently too. Keep that way away from broadcast news, please, especially the BBC." Others call for media watchdog Ofcom to investigate, despite the organisation not looking after BBC complaints. "Is this Newsnight report balanced, fair and impartial? Please investigate this." One labelled Maitlis' comments as disgraceful as they added, "What a totally disgraceful speech from Emily Maitlis and the BBC Newsnight editorial team. Ofcom needs to step in because the BBC are clearly breaking their own charter. This is nasty and not at all unbiased or impartial." Former Labour MP Kate Howitt, the last great Labour MP, tweeted, "Understand that the BBC is being inundated with complaints about Emily Maitlis and Newsnight from last night. I've also put in a complaint and I'm sure many, many more will. #BBC bias." BBC, Maitlis or Newsnight is yet to publicly comment on the criticism, with the fortnightly complaint statement from the broadcaster due to be released tomorrow. Right, and here I go defending Emily Maitlis. Deep breath. As you know, I really dislike reporters and presenters, and I also blame MSM for a lot of this country's issues, but Emily Maitlis should not have lost her job, and here's why. Presenters, in my opinion, are not reporters, and even if they were, would they write their own show? I'm not sure about that, to be honest, but I'll tell you what I am sure of. Presenters of the lamestream media do not get carte blanche on what is said in any programme, i.e. they don't just write the story and then just go and say it on camera. Do you think that they do? Because I don't. So, i.e. someone higher, like editorial, producer, manager, etc., will actually be making the decision after she's or whoever has written what was going to be aired. So effectively, we're going after the metaphorical dancing monkey and not the organ grinder, aren't we? Who truly deserve it, the BBC itself. And if you think about it, the BBC let it be written in the first place. They let it be placed on the auto cue, because as we know, presenters read off an auto cue. They let it be aired, and then the second there was uproar, they throw Emily under the bus and blame her. This tactic, you can see, is being used across the media. It's used all over the place. They blame the worker, and the company survives. I actually think that this is how the BBC gets around the charter. What they'll do is they'll say something controversial, knowing it will get a lot of complaints, but it will also sway opinion as well. And then when the crap hits the fan, They'll blame the presenter, move that presenter, they won't sack them, they'll move that presenter onto a different programme, rinse, repeat, you see what I mean? So in my opinion, we should redirect our complaints so it shows the whole BBC as the villains and biased the media that they are, and not the individual presenter. Because like I say, the BBC will have okayed that to be aired, which really does go against the charter, doesn't it? You see what they've done? They basically said to Emily, look, we're going to get a lot of flack for this. They'll probably try and shut us down for it. We'll have to blame you. And she's gone, okay. Because they've not sacked her, have they? They're just going to put her somewhere else. But let me know what you think, everyone. Do you think that this is a bit underhanded? I mean, this is your worker and you're throwing them under the bus at the first opportunity. It's quite funny, but I really do feel sorry for Emily. I mean, it's not fair, is it? Even if she wrote it, we all know the BBC are biased anyway. It's the fact that the BBC let it be aired and then blamed Emily for it that I have an issue with. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.